Do y'all remember me talking about this yesterday? If you just put a 2, is that correct? No, because first of all, that's not even an ordered pair. Second of all, it's definitely not a line. For it to be a line, it has to say X or Y equals. If you just put a 2, I have no idea what you're talking about because there's technically 4 2s on this graph. Okay, so make sure you put X equals 2. What about the vertex? Somebody different. Good job, Jordan. What is the vertex? Anybody can answer, Zoom or in class.
The point.
What point? Be specific. What is it?
The turning point.
Good, very good. Okay, good. I heard it from 2 people. Good. It's the turning point that's either at the top or the bottom. So if you look at this parabola, if you start on the left, it goes up and then it turns around at the top and goes back down, kind of like a roller coaster. Okay. So the vertex, did you guys get 2, 1? Remember, it's an ordered pair. Is everybody okay with that? Okay.
Yeah.
You had what? Oh, be careful. So remember, when you're doing an ordered pair for math 1, you always go left or right first, then up and down. X's come first. All right, zeros. This is the one y'all struggled the most on when I checked your work from yesterday. Zeros is another name for x-intercepts. Wherever the graph is at 0, that's why it's called a 0. So if you're at 0, you're on the x-axis. So what 2 points are where this parabola crosses or touches the x-axis? What are the order pairs? Good. 1, 0.
And 3, 0.
Very good. And 3, 0. Good job. Some of y'all getting lots of extra credit. 1, 0 and 3, 0. So remember, zeros is just another name for x-intercepts. If you joined the Zoom yesterday, I got corny with you. X-intercepts can be called zeros, roots, or solutions, or obviously x-intercepts. Same thing with all of us. A lot of us have at least 3, if not 4 names. Like me and Jordan got 4 names. So if somebody calls me Rebecca, I know it's one of my friends. If somebody calls me Miss Poole, I know it's one of my older students from the past. If somebody calls me Miss PJ or Miss Jernigan, usually it's a newer student. And then if I hear my middle name, I know it's my mama and she's pissed off. But they all are still talking about me. Same thing with zeros, roots, solutions, okay? All right, a y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis. Good. Good. So what ordered pair does this parabola cross the vertical axis, the y-axis right here?
0, -3.
Very good. It crosses at -3. And remember, you always start at the origin. It goes left or right, none, down 3. So that would be 0, -3. Are we okay so far? All right, this next one, I feel like most of you are fine on. Is the vertex a max or a min? Okay, somebody tell me why it's a max.
Because the vertex is at the highest point of the parabola.
Very good. So I heard it's at the highest point, it's at the top, it turns at the top. All of those are great explanations. Very good. All right, F, I think some of us struggled on. So we didn't necessarily word for word talk about this yesterday, but I wanted to see what you all would do. So remember yesterday, I did ask you for the max or min value. So remember, the max or min value is the value that the parabola reaches. So if you look, this has a maximum value of what? What does it reach?
1.
1. Very good. So maximum value of 1. Now, what do you think the next part is asking when it says at? Okay, Jordan, what did you say? Yeah, good. Okay, and other people were saying this too. So listen, the max value is 1. It reaches 1. When does it reach 1? When x is
2.
So you could say at 2. You could also say at x equals 2. I'd take either of those. Very good, y'all. And then for direction of opening, I hope we all knew that this was opening downward. Look at the arrows on the ends, they're pointing down. So it starts at the top and it opens down. Are you guys okay with number 2 if I just put the answers up and y'all can check? All right, let's do that. Any questions on number 1? Y'all gotta be okay with these graphs for what we're doing today. So I wanna make sure everybody's good. Y'all are good with 1? right? Let's see, axis of symmetry would be x equals -1. Vertex is -1, -4. Zeros are -3 and 1. Y-intercept is at -3. It's a minimum. Min value of -4 at -1. Up. Ooh, that was fast, right? I'll give y'all a second to check and ask me any questions, and then we'll go over the classwork assignment answers from yesterday, and y'all can ask questions on that. All are good. I'm going to go ahead and flip. Okay, so don't have long notes. There's really only one feature that's pretty tricky to find, and we'll go over that. So first thing we need to review we learned this yesterday. What does the equation of a quadratic function look like?
Y equals
Good.
ax squared plus bx plus c.
Very good, Carter. Ax squared plus bx plus c. So this is one of the forms that the equation of a quadratic function will look like. So remember, if you were in Zoom yesterday or watched the notes video like you were supposed to, I hope that was all of you. It's called a quadratic because the degree is 2. We learned that in unit 1, right? If it's squared, we call it quadratic. What form is this specifically?
Standard.
Standard form.
There we go. Good. Standard form. So in Math 1, your Math 1 teacher may have lied to you, and I'm just saying that because I know I did. I said there was only one form for quadratics, and this was it. There's actually 2 other ones. Just if we showed that to y'all as 8th graders or freshmen in Math 1, we would have scared you. So this is standard form, which means what do you think we're going to learn about tomorrow and Thursday? The other ones, Jordan looked so thrilled when he just said that. That boy was like, oh my God, there's more. This is standard form of a quadratic. We can find all of the features of a quadratic without graphing it by hand. So I'm going to keep it hot with y'all. I do not teach kids how to graph quadratics in standard form by hand because it's too complicated. You got to go make a table, plug in all these different values. It takes too much time. It's not worth it. Okay. So I know a couple of you have like tutors or other people that help you with work. I do not want you graphing these because that's an extra 2 or 3 steps added on to where you could just look at the equation to find the other features. Okay. So if it's okay with y'all, are y'all good if I go easiest feature to find to hardest? Is that cool with everybody?
Yes.
Huh? Start with the hard one first. This boy is crazy. No, you're the only person that said that. Everybody else said easy. All right, so easiest feature to find from a quadratic function in standard form. Let's make us a little table. And this is where you're going to put your notes. And then, like I said, we'll do 3 examples. The easiest feature to find is the y-intercept. Does anybody remember from Math 1, which of these 3 will tell you what the y-intercept is? Oh my God, smart children. All you got to do is look at the C value. Now remember, and if y'all mess this up, I'm a blank because my Math 1 kids are doing this right now and I love them dearly, but them fools be saying crazy stuff sometimes. If it's a y-intercept, that means, I'm going to get my little graph out just so y'all can see. If it's a y-intercept, that means the point is somewhere on the y-axis, right? So like here or here or here, etc. Everybody agrees with that, right? So if it's a y-intercept and the point is sitting on the y-axis, did we go left or right any? No. So the x value should always be My math one kids told me the y should always be 0. And I was like, babies, we're finding the y-intercept. That should be a number. Anyways, that's a whole nother ball game. Okay? 0, comma, whatever the c value is. There's your y-intercept. Now, why on earth would you waste your time graphing this just to find the y-intercept? A waste of time. Okay? I don't like wasting y'all's time. I'm going to show you the easiest way to find stuff. That's it. There's your notes for y-intercept. We're going to look at the back number. Sound good? All right, second easiest. Is the direction of opening. Were y'all fine with me just putting 0, comma c as the notes? Like, do I need to write anything? What you want me to write, babe? Look at the back number? I can write look at the back number. That's fine. If you need words, because I know some of y'all are auditory. Look at the back number. That's going to be the y-intercept. Who remembers from math 1 what you look at for the direction of opening? Which one of these 3? The A. Good. Okay, the A. Now, let me ask y'all a question. I didn't say find the number of the opening, did I? So you don't look at the number. Who remembers what about the A we're going to look at? Yes. Good. The sign. So people online, they said if it's negative or positive. If the A is positive, where do you think it's going to open? Up, because that makes sense, because positive numbers go up on a graph, right? If A is negative, where's the graph going to open? Down. That's it. You should be able to tell me the opening just from looking at an equation, okay? So let's write that down. I'm going to put it into words for my word people. If A is positive, it'll open up. If A is negative, it'll open down. I'm totally fine if y'all just write up and down. You do not have to write upward, downward. I'm good with abbreviations. Now, y'all know I have to give you a little corny phrase to remember this. Hopefully you won't forget it. But if A is negative, y'all are still writing. I'll give you a second. If A is negative, the graph is going to look like a frown. So what word rhymes with frown? Down. My math one kids told me I should have been a rapper in another lifetime. I was like, yes, I do know. If it's a frown, it opens down. Okay? So if the A is negative, the graph is going to frown because negative people do what? Frown, like grumpy cat. So if it's a frown, it's going to open down. If they're a positive person, then they're going to smile, which means it'll open up because positive people lift others up. Sound good? No, because nothing rhymes with up except for pup and cup. I guess it could look like a cup, maybe. See, that sounds dumb, though. I'm reaching right there. Sean's like, you reaching. Okay? Any questions about the direction of opening? Every year, I have a kid or two that get a tutor, and they're like, my tutor showed me how to graph it. Great. You just did a bunch of extra work. I mean, I don't care. I'm not going to, like, make fun of you for graphing it, but, like, that's extra work that you didn't need to do where you could have just looked at it. Okay? All right. Third one. Guess what? For the third one, we just going to look, too. It's going to be great. So for the third feature, let's see, we did opening and y-intercept, so let's do this one next. Finding out if it has a max or min. So I'm not asking you to actually find the max or min. We're just talking about how do you figure out which one it'll have. So what do y'all think? How could we figure out if it'll have a maximum or a minimum vertex?
Look at the direction of opening and then the opposite of that.
Good. Okay, good. Look at the direction of opening. So let's talk about it. For the max or min, if A is positive, we know that means it what? Opens up. So let's write this down. If A is positive, we know it'll open up, which means it's going to look like this, right? So if it opens up, is the vertex at the bottom or the top? The bottom. So if A is positive, what is it going to be? A minimum. Very good. Is everybody okay with that? Okay. Do you have a question or you just? All right, so that means if A is negative, you guys told me earlier, negative people be frowning, right? Which means it opens down. So if our graph is negative and it's opening down, then it's going to have a maximum. Good, Henry. Jaden, did I lose you or are you just having trouble seeing the green? Okay. The green low-key sucks, and you can say that. It's really okay. I just need to get new markers. So the roots / zeros / solutions. So keep in mind, you do not have a graph to look at. What are all of these three things talking about? The x-intercepts. Good, Jaden. The x-intercepts. So you don't have a graph you can look at to actually find the x-intercepts. But we talked about this earlier with the y-intercept. If it's a y-intercept, x is always 0. So if it's an x-intercept, what should the y be? 0. So if you joined Zoom yesterday, I did talk to y'all about this. The reason they're called zeros is because you can set y equal to 0 and solve it, aka also why they're called solutions. So what we're going to do to find the solutions or the zeros is put 0 in for y and solve the quadratic equation. So I am going to write that, but then we're going to go ahead and do an example for this one underneath it so you can look back at it, okay? I know some of you are like, what is she talking about? Some of you just need to see an example. That's totally fine. So listen, write this down first. The first thing you're going to do is set y equal to 0 because that would mean it's an x-intercept, right? That's what y'all just told me. Okay, Jaden's nodding yes. I got one person with me. So then once you set y equal to 0, you're going to solve for x. Then once you solve for x, you should have ordered pairs, whatever x is, and then 0 will be behind it, right? Because it's an x-intercept, so the y should be 0. What'd you say? It should sound familiar because this isn't something some of you learned it in Math 1. He's like, God, I wish I had had somebody different for Math 1. He can't get away from me. But you've also seen it in Math 2 already. It's something we already did. It's something you had a test on Friday. Factoring. You solve a quadratic by factoring. So this is why I said some of you just need to see an example, all right? So I'm going to give you an example. I think y'all are ready for it. Let's see. Let's do, I got one right here, y'all. Here we go. Sean's like, oh, this is great. I want everybody just to do it right here, right now. We're going to look at it. So with these harder ones, I like to give you an example actually in your notes, and then we'll also go do examples where we find everything. So if we have y equals x squared minus 2x minus 3 and they ask you to find the zeros or find the roots or find the solutions or find the x-intercepts, what's the first thing we're going to do? What did we just write?
0
Set
equals
y equal to 0. Very good. So 0 equals x squared minus 2x minus 3. Now the second step says solve for x. If it is a quadratic, I want you to write this. We solve quadratics by factoring. That is the fastest, easiest way to solve a quadratic. So those of you that have been using third-party resources, first of all, you're supposed to ask my permission. Some of y'all have been using stuff that doesn't work well. But second of all, other places are going to do other things besides factor that, again, take way longer. Factor is the fastest, easiest way. And it's the way you'll have to do in Math 3 and Math 4, okay? So how do we factor x squared minus 2x minus 3? Can somebody tell me what we're looking for? Okay, we're trying to solve for x, yes, but y'all, I asked y'all how you factor. What are factors of x squared? Is this why y'all were saying x?
X.
Oh, Lord, these boys in class talking about some, oh, we doing that. Yes, that's factoring. X and x. What was somebody online saying? What do we look at next?
The 3.
Good. Factors of 3, which are what?
1 and 3.
Yes, y'all, why y'all acting surprised? I told you on Friday when some of you didn't do so hot that you better get it together because we were doing this unit and next unit and the unit after that and the unit after that. It's real tough for some people. You did fine on your test. Factors of 3 are just 3 and 1. So remember from last unit, we are subtracting to get 2. If you do 3 minus 1, don't you get 2? Yes. Now let's review. Just make sure we're all on the same page. X's go in the front because x squared was in the front. Henry is saying we need different signs because we were subtracting. He's right. So one of these factors should be positive and the other one should be negative. If we want a -2 in the middle, which one should be negative? The 3. So did you guys get x minus 3, x plus 1? You did fine on your test too. So y'all know you'll be good. All right, now listen. This is the only thing that is different. We are actually solving it. So this is the one thing that's going to be new today. So I need y'all to watch. Take your 2 factors. What are they supposed to equal? 0. So watch what we're going to do. That means I can say, okay, x minus 3 should equal 0. And x plus 1 can equal 0. I really hope we learned how to solve equations like that in Math 1. Not move the x, move the number. So you would move the -3 over by, how do you move a -3? The sign will change. Okay, good. Whew, I wish I had more of y'all from Math 1. Opposite operations. That's how you solve an equation. So if it says -3, what's the opposite of subtracting 3? So you would add 3. So y'all, what's the first x-intercept going to be? 3. Very good. Makes sense, right? And then what would the other x-intercept be? You would have to subtract the 1. And 0 minus 1 is -1. Very good job, y'all. Okay, so your teacher did do that. They don't have to in Math 1. I usually go ahead and show it because y'all already learned how to factor in Math 1. If you didn't, it's because you went virtual or your teacher may not have been the best, and that's okay. I got you now. 3, 0, and -1, 0. Those would be our 2 x-intercepts. Did I lose anybody? Because some of y'all looking a little, where'd I lose you? I'm gonna pause this. The y-intercept. We have found the max min, how it opens. We found the x-intercepts. What are the two things that we have not done yet?
Axis of symmetry and vertex.
Very good, Carter. Axis of symmetry and vertex. Those are the last two, and they go hand in hand, okay? So these are my last ones. We'll do a couple examples. I don't know if some of y'all are going to need more than 2 examples. So then the last two, and if it's cool with y'all, I'm going to put these together. The axis of symmetry and the vertex. And I'm going to copy over this quadratic equation again, just so we can talk about it. So the last feature you should know how to find by hand. It really doesn't take a lot of time, but there's a formula you have to know for it, is the axis of symmetry and the vertex. All right, which of these, think carefully. I'm asking you a question, I'm quizzing you. We don't have a picture to look at. We're pretending we still have a state exam for math 2, and this is on the non-calculator because this is where they always like to put them. So think about it. There's no picture to look at. Which of these do you think you can find first?
The vertex.
Okay. Which one's bigger and takes up more room? Axis of symmetry is a whole line, right? That's what you can find first. If you can find that whole line, you have found the middle of the parabola, and then you should be able to find the top or bottom point on it, okay? So when we find axis of symmetry and vertex, the first thing you have to do is find the axis of symmetry. And there is a formula for it that I need y'all to know. So write it on your hand, write it on your bathroom mirror so you see it every morning when you get up and brush your teeth. I don't care, but you need to know this formula. It's x equals, which makes sense because our axis of symmetry is x equals, right? It's a vertical line. Negative b over 2 times a. That's it. If you do negative b divided by 2 times a, that'll tell you what the axis of symmetry is for your equation. So the first thing you're going to do is use this formula to find the axis of symmetry. Once you find the axis of symmetry, that's the x value of the middle, right? So I wrote the equation up here for a reason. If you know what x is, what could we go do to find the y? I feel like I heard somebody mumble it. Y'all gotta be confident in your answers. Yeah, multiply, aka whatever you get for x, go plug it in for the x's and simplify to find the y. So after you find the axis of symmetry, you're gonna go, let's not use the word plug, I hate that word. It's not a math word. We're gonna go substitute the x equals into the equation to find y. And then if you have your x of the middle and your y of the middle, you will know the what? Vertex. Good, Henry. The vertex will just equal whatever you got for x, comma, whatever you got for y. We will do an example of just this to make sure y'all are okay. You got to do all of that, not for one question. So your homework, and this is not over, so I'm going to pause this before these people that watch this. All right. Every year, and you guys didn't ask it, and I think it's because y'all aren't as, I don't know if it's that y'all aren't as inquisitive or y'all just don't like asking questions when you're virtual, but it's okay. Every year, a kid asks me why we use this formula, where the formula came from. So I'm going to try to explain it to you best I can, all right? Yes, everybody's with me? Okay, y'all got to talk to me. So look, I'm just going to draw a parabola. B is the middle number. Does everybody agree with that? Okay, well, let's think about it. When we have a parabola and we're trying to find the axis of symmetry, aren't we splitting it down the middle? Okay, so think about real world problems. Anytime you talk about taking something away or cutting it or splitting it, don't we normally subtract? So you're taking the middle number and cutting it. And then how many halves are we splitting it into? 2, which is why there's a 2 on the bottom. And then A we'll learn about on, I don't know yet, either Thursday or Tuesday, depends how y'all are doing with this. The A value just tells you how wide or how skinny the parabola is. So there used to be one of my BFFs that used to teach here. She wouldn't be mad at me saying this. She was chunky. Connor, you have Miss Allred, right? She's going to watch this on my YouTube channel and be like,
I had you.
you did?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't know you had her. She's one of my BFFs. That girl's a little chunky. So we used to say when the A was wider, that was a Miss Allred parabola. And when it was skinnier, it's a Miss Pool parabola. Because I'm built like Slender Man, okay? So that's why we divide by 2A. We're splitting it into 2 halves when we find that axis of symmetry. And this is just telling you how wide or skinny each half is. So that's where the equation comes from. I like y'all to know that so you don't think somebody just made it up. We're splitting the parabola down the middle, so negative B, and then we are putting it into 2 halves. Okay? All right, let's do an example because I think that's just what some of you need. So example time. Let's use the same equation. No, let's use a different equation. We're going to use y equals 2x squared minus 4x minus 6. And I promise after this, we'll honestly probably just do one example, and those of you that are good, I'll let you go. If anybody wants more, we'll do another one. All right, so for this example, all I want you finding is the axis of symmetry and the vertex. So which one do we find first?
Axis of symmetry.
Axis of symmetry. So what is my formula for axis of symmetry? And I know y'all can still look at yours, but it's fine. Go ahead, babe. What is it? Negative B divided by 2A. Does everybody agree with Jordan? Good job, Jordan. That boy said, I want my extra credit. So look at this equation, kiddos, and y'all listen to me very carefully. If y'all label the A, B, and C wrong, I'm going to be pissed. I don't have a nicer way to say it. Let me quiz you. Which one of these which one of these numbers is the C? Great, it's a -6, right? Okay, just make sure you're paying attention to your signs. Which one of these letters is the A? +2. Which one's the B? Great, the one in the middle. We understand, right? Okay, please, please. Every year I got kids labeling that wrong, and I really just don't understand. Yes. Okay, did y'all hear Henry's question? You were taking the words out of my mouth. When you take the B and you turn it negative, if it's already -4, what is it going to become when I make it negative?
Positive.
A negative makes a
Positive.
Do y'all understand that? I'm going to write it for you just so you can see. We're putting the B into the equation, and it's -4. Divided by 2 times. Now look at your equation. What is the A value? 2. So I'm going to put that in. So you guys just told me a -4 turns into a what kind of 4? And then what is 2 times 2 on the bottom? So
4.
what is my axis of symmetry? Not just 1. I'm going to get y'all. X equals 1. Good. X equals 1. It's a line. Axis of symmetry is the vertical line X equals 1. So it is going to cut that parabola when X is 1. Are you guys okay with the first step? There's your axis of symmetry. That really wasn't bad, was it? Again, I don't know why you would go waste your time plugging in numbers and trying to graph this parabola when all you have to do is -B over 2A. So now that I know the middle is where x is 1, how can we find the vertex? Plug it in for all the x's, right? Because we already found the middle is when x is 1. So to figure out what it reaches in the middle, aka the vertex, we're going to plug 1 in. So the y value, make sure y'all are with me, instead of an x, what am I plugging in? 1. So this is going to be 1 squared minus 4 times 1 minus 6. You okay? I'm going to keep it real with y'all. This is also where the children mess up, and this is 7th grade math right here. My niece is working on this right now. Please don't miss this. PEMDAS, what do you do first? Okay, parentheses, yes, but we can't simplify anything in these parentheses. So what comes next? Exponents. What is 1 squared? You are not squaring the 2. Exponents, it's attached to the 1. 1 squared is 1. Does everybody agree this is just 2 times 1 minus 4 times 1 minus 6? All right. What's 2 times 1?
2.
2 minus, what's 4 times 1?
4.
4 minus 6. What does 2 take away 4? Negative 2. Good, Evan. Yep, 2 minus 4 is a negative 2. And then negative 2 minus 6 is, so the y value is negative 8. If y'all put y equals negative 8 for the vertex, I'm going to be mad. The vertex is the turning point. So what are we going to write? 1 negative 8. That is how you would find the vertex and axis of symmetry. It's not bad. The math is easy. This is where y'all mess up, the negative b over 2a, and then I got some people that just be messing up the PEMDAS, which I don't understand. But it happens every year. I know this was a lot, so I am going to pause and ask for questions in 1 second. Are y'all good if we do one example where I ask you to find everything so we can make sure we understand how to find all the things? You're like, oh my God, your homework won't take you long, I promise. All right, online people, any questions before I do another? Love those kinds of questions. I will tell you anything you want to know about college or the real world. All right, we're going to do one example together, and then people who feel like they are good, they can go. The rest of you, if you need to stay and ask questions, you can. So let's do. That one's just too easy. I don't want that one. I don't want that one either. This one's good. What'd you say? No. That boy said, can I have the easy one? No, you cannot. All right. We are going to find everything. Every feature we took notes on today, we're going to find right now. So what do y'all want to start with?
Easy.
Okay, something easy. That's fine. Tell me something easy. The vertex is the hardest. That boy trying to be slick today. What? Okay, they said the y-intercept is negative 8. People at home, do y'all agree? Jaden, you paying attention? Okay, so Riley agrees as well. The y-intercept, if it's negative 8, how are you going to write that? It's not just negative 8. Y'all better not upset me. It's not just negative 8. You said, oh, okay. I get what you're saying. 0, negative 8. It's an ordered pair. It's a point. You put negative 8, I don't know what you're talking about. There's lots of negative 8s on the graph. Y'all feel me? 0, negative 8. It's got to be an ordered pair. Very good. Then my online people, if you guys are good, if we keep discussing, oh my God, I got my pen stuck in my curls. Big yikes. They said also direction of opening should be really easy to see. I agree. This parabola is negative, which means it opens down. Very good. So we know it's going to open down because there's a negative out front, right? Remember to look at your leading coefficient. You good? Not bad. If it opens down, do we have a max or a min? Good. They said max. So draw yourself a picture if you have to. If it's going to open down, that means the point is at the top. So we have a max. So now the only ones left to find are the ones that take a little bit of work. Do y'all want to find the x-intercepts first or the vertex axis of symmetry? Okay, the intercepts. They're saying intercepts. Is that fine with y'all at home? Y'all are quiet. Y'all good if we find the intercepts?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Oh, they all said yes. They're ready to go. All right. Let's see. A different color. Okay, for the intercepts, I'm going to put them right here, and we're going to do them in purple. There might be two, so I'm going to put plural just in case. For the intercepts, can you guys remind me what I'm supposed to do? Turn the y into a 0. Good job. Okay. Set it equal to 0, because if it's an x-intercept, the y should be 0. What do we do next? Factor it. Now, I did this one for a reason. We learned last unit that when you factor, you are not supposed to have negatives. Do we remember that? This is why I threw this one in here. If there is a negative anything out front, you have to take it out. So does everybody agree we need to get rid of the negative one? People at home, y'all good?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to take out the negative 1. So now it's going to be x squared minus 6x plus 8. If you have questions on how I got that, I need you to ask me now. I'm going to pause. All right. Are you good? I'm not even sure who he's talking to, but I know it won't me with that tone. Everybody's good? All right, x squared minus 6x plus 8. I need to factor it. So what are my factors of x squared?
X and X.
X and X, good beating. What are my factors of 8? 4 and 2 or
8
8
and 1.
and 1. Which one should you try first?
4 and
2. So let's talk about it. If you add, because this says positive 8, if you add 4 and 2, don't you get 6? Yeah, but if I want it to be negative, then they both need to be.
2. Different signs.
No, be careful, be careful. If you're adding, the sign should be the same. That's good though, because now we got to talk about it. Now, good, I'm glad. This should seem okay. If you're good with factoring, this should seem fine. This is the part where y'all will mess up. Is negative 1 ever equal to 0? No. If you said yes, I'm going to pray for you. No. Negative 1 is never equal to 0. So once you take that negative 1 out, you don't need it.
So you can just take it out?
Yes. Factor it out, take it out, and then when you're solving, negative 1 does not equal 0. So that's just no solution for that part. Yeah, baby. Is negative 1 0? That you have to take out. Yes. Because you can't factor with a negative out front. We've talked about this. Y'all killing me with this negative. I'm glad I did this one. Now, what do I do with these two? Set them, they're already factored. Set them equal to
0.
0. X minus 4 equals 0, and x minus 2 equals 0, and you're going to solve them both for x, right? I got another pen to throw away. It's a sad day here in room 602. Guess I will make it. Talking trash. Connor, he's talking trash to me. Do y'all agree it's 4 and 2 if you solve them? How do we write it? You don't put 4 comma 2. You put zeros where? Yes, 4 0 and 2 0. Y'all are okay? I'm starting to run out of room. Another sad day in 602 because I'm gonna have to waste another sheet of paper, but it's okay. And last but not least, I'm gonna keep going. If y'all have questions, you are supposed to unmute and ask me or pop them in my chat, kiddos. The axis of symmetry and the vertex. These are the last two. I'm gonna make sure y'all are good for this assignment. Tomorrow and Thursday, I promise there is not a lot of work. It all happens on today. So y'all bear with me today. The axis of symmetry, here's my equation right here. How do I find the axis of symmetry? What's my formula?
X equals negative b over 2a.
Very good, Evan and Carter. Good job, y'all. So x equals negative b over 2a. Here's your equation right here. I'm going to box it for y'all. What's the b value? 6. So I have negative 6 over 2 times. What's the a value? Good, negative 1. Do you remember doing this last year? Oh, okay. Well, you're getting all the answers right, so that's fine. If we hadn't been in a pandemic, I'd be pissed that you said that, but I'll let it slide. So do y'all agree that's negative 6 over negative 2? So what's my axis of symmetry? There we go. My boy said 3 in class. Virtual babies, are y'all good with that?
Yes, ma'am.
X equals 3. It's okay. I knew what you meant. Okay. So now, Haley, I'm going to talk to you since you're talking to me so you can get more extra credit, girl. Where do I put the x equals 3 to find the vertex?
In the equation?
Good. So y'all, everywhere you see an x, what are we going to put in?
A 3.
A 3. So this is negative 3 squared plus 6 times 3, good, Sean, minus 8 equals y. And we're going to solve it and find y. I bet y'all, when y'all learned PEMDAS, y'all learned, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, she limps from left to right. I hate that. We do a wrap in my math 1 class. Parentheses first, exponents next, multiplication then division in the same step, addition and subtraction if you got the nerve from left to right, first come, first serve. Somebody left. They said, we got to go. This is corny. 3 squared is 9, so this is negative 9 plus 6 times 3 is 18 minus 8. What's negative 9 plus 18? You got to go from left to right. 9 minus 8 is 1. So if the y is 1, what's my vertex, kiddos? Good.